Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, for joining us today. And thank you for joining the I'm You Nutrition Live Talk series. My name is Megan. I'll be hosting the webinar session today. Today's webinar session is with title, Eating for Health and Wellness, Novel Ingredients on My Plate. And we have a lined up of prominent speakers who will be sharing their expertise today. Before starting, just some housekeeping rules. We have muted your microphone for all the participants. If you have any questions and feedback, do drop them in the Q&A panel box, and the live webinar will be recorded and make available the links after the sessions. So without further ado, join me in welcoming our first speakers today, Dr. Penny Chong. Dr. Penny is a lecturer with the Division of Nutrition and Dietetics, IMU. She has more than 15 years of working experience in the sector of nutraceuticals and supplements, as well as in the academic setting. Dr. Chong has won numerous research awards at national and international level, and she is a life member of MASO, Malaysian Association for Study of Obesity, and also Nutrition Society of Malaysia. She is also a professional member for the Malaysian Institute of Food Technology, MIFT, and FitGene Australia. She is also a certified nutrigenomic practitioner. Very interesting. Her current research interest includes bioactivities compounds, nutraceuticals development, as well as nutrigenomic studies. Join me to welcome Dr. Penny Chong. Dr. Penny, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Megan. Let me share my slides first. Okay. All right, once again, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's a great honor and very happy that I'm able to meet you all today in this webinar. So once again, today we are going to discuss about something that very interesting, functional ingredient in food. I believe that that somehow in your daily life, you will come across all these functional ingredient in food if you observant the food that's selling around you. Right. So before we go further for our today discussion, so what is nutraceutical? So from the words nutraceutical, it will relate us to another word called pharmaceutical. Am I right? So from this picture, it already clearly shows that it is a interface between a food and also drugs. So it's in between. So let's go one by one. You can see over here. So from the most left, that is the basic food that we eat every day. So that is food, right? So with the demand of the market, people look for more healthy version of food. So that comes in organic food. Then gluten-free food. So with the development of food science, food tech, with the scientists, then we slowly found out a lot of interesting and very valuable nutritional ingredient in food. That come the functional ingredient. So by incorporating the functional ingredient into our daily food, that's what we call functional food. So when we see functional food, it's still present in the form of food itself. For example, oil, for example, in yogurt, for example, in candies, for example, in mayonnaise, or maybe, for example, in margarine. All right. So by increasing the dosage of the functional ingredient so that it can give a stronger health benefits, then it will make into a nutritional supplement. So when a product is under the category of nutritional supplement, it no longer present in the form of food. So it will present in the form of drugs. For example, in the form of capsule, in the form of tablet, maybe effervescent tablet, or maybe powder in sachet. So with a higher dosage of the nutritional functional ingredient into it. And also we also develop a lot of things like medical food. So medical food is the food that actually incorporate a lot of functional ingredient inside that targeted for the benefits of the patient. For example, milk that developed specially designed for cancer patient, maybe milk that specially designed for diabetic patient, and even milk that's specially designed for cardiovascular disease patient. Yeah, of course, the most right-hand side is the over-the-counter prescription medication that is solely for the treatment purpose. So when we say nutraceuticals are the functional ingredient that comes from food itself, yeah, and then with the higher dosage, okay, it developed into a nutritional supplement and also medical food. Yep. So as we see this picture, okay, as it goes along the line towards the right-hand side, so especially towards the nutraceutical as compared to the ordinary food, it needs a stricter regulation to ensure the safety to the public, and it has a stronger functional benefit in terms of health, and it needs a lot of scientific substantiation, and definitely it needs to be prescribed by the health professionals. Yeah, all right. So this is a survey that's been done in a global market, and currently there is a huge market in the nutraceutical ingredient. Yeah. So in the year of 2022, yeah, the current market size for the nutraceutical ingredient is $100 billion. And according to this survey, by 10 years time, this market size will increase in double. Yeah, where this in 10 years time, it will grow into $200 billion. So with the development of this functional ingredient, yeah, so it all developed into the nutraceutical markets. Yeah, so this is a survey that's been done in a multiple region, including America, Asia Pacific, Europe, America, and Middle East Africa. So this functional ingredient will be developed into this kind of product. For example, the most highly demand is the weight management and satiety product. And of course, due to the COVID and also the post-COVID, people realize that health is very important. So they do look into the immune system boosting product as well. For example, elderberry extract, yeah, turmeric, curcumin, vitamin C, so on and so forth. Yeah. So from here, we recognize that there is a huge development in the market size of the functional ingredient. Yeah. By conclude, it driven by these few factors, because of the increased demand of the functional and fortified food, okay, based on the needs of the current market, people need to work faster, want to concentrate better in their work, they want to perform better in their work and also in fitness. Yeah, growth in the dietary supplement. Okay, there's a growth of health awareness and preference for natural ingredient. For example, instead of synthetic vitamin C, people look for natural in vitamin C, like acerola extract. Yeah, and technology advancement. Okay, that's currently have a lot of advanced technology in the food extraction for those bioactive ingredient, fermentation techniques, even nutrient delivery systems into your body. Higher demand for personalized nutrition, that people want to look for product that targeted to become more pretty, or maybe better in weight management, even immune boosting, and also for fitness or even mental alertness. Yeah, look for ingredients that are able to help them to focus more in their work. They have a longer focus in their the mental performance. Yeah, even that's a growing of the aging population and a higher income, and also changing of lifestyle, and definitely of the growing e-commerce, that a lot of online sales of this nutritional supplement online. Yeah, so now I'm going to discuss some of the well-known functional ingredient in the current food market. Yeah, where if you see in the local hypermarket, you were able to find this kind of product that containing this kind of well-known functional ingredient. Yeah, so first of it is plant sterol. So what is plant sterol? Plant sterol actually is a normal component inside the cell membrane in the plants. So it presents a very small quantity in food. And you can find plant sterol in those that food that provide fats and oil. For example, wheat germ oil, corn oil, okay, fortified bread and cereal, fruit and vegetable, even nuts. Yeah, and because the chemical structure is similar to cholesterol in our body, so it will able to help in lower down our cholesterol in our body by from you see this right hand side picture. Yeah, so in order for the cholesterol to be absorbed into our bloodstream, it will first need to form micelle. Yeah, and because the structure of the plant sterol is similar to cholesterol, it will able to displace the cholesterol from forming the micelle. So that's less cholesterol will be able to absorb into the bloodstream. So the additional cholesterol will be able to eliminate through our bowel system. Yeah, but in order to have this benefit, you need to take at least 2 to 3 grams per day. So these are some products that's selling in the market. For example, this is a soft chew chocolate. Instead of just being provide you merely a pleasure of having this food, it also add in extra benefit by putting in plant sterol for the cholesterol lowering effect. This is a milk, okay, being fortified with plant sterol, even a margarine. So by taking more plant sterol fortified food in your daily diet, so in total, it will help you to boost up your plant sterol intake in a day. Yeah, so 2 grams to 3 grams a day. So that from the scientific evidence, if you are able to take 2 to 3 grams a day, you will able to help to lower down your cholesterol. Now we look into the plant beta-glucan. Yeah. So what is beta-glucan? Beta-glucan is a functional carbohydrate. So it's not an ordinary carbohydrate, but it's a functional carbohydrate with a special structure. So this is the process from oat plant, and then it produced into oat flour. From there, it produced the oat bran. From there, it extract the beta-glucan. Yeah. So beta-glucan mainly came from barley and oats. So from the research, it shows that by taking beta-glucan into your daily diet, it will lower down the cholesterol. From there, it will lower down the risk of getting heart disease, even lower the glycemic response. So which is helpful for those people that had a high sugar level. So for the food labeling, beta-glucan is allowed for the use for the following function claim, which is by taking 3 grams a day, you were able to help lower down your blood cholesterol. Yeah, so beta-glucan, it has many types, depends of the source of the beta-glucan. So if the beta-glucan come from the bacteria with the structure of this linear beta-1,3 glucan, it helps in for the health of the blood system. Yeah. So for the beta-glucan come from the oats and barley with this particular structure, it helps to lower down cholesterol, and thus it helps to lower down the risk of cardiovascular disease. Yeah. Beta-glucan come from fungi and yeast, it able to train our immune system. So that will actually boost up our immunity. Yeah. So today we cover the beta-glucan from oats. Yeah, due to the limitation of time. So this is the research. It shows that by taking 3 grams of beta-glucans from oats, it will able to lower down the cholesterol. So from there, it gave benefits in protection of our heart and cardiovascular systems. So these are some of the food that's selling in the current market, yeah, that are being fortified with oat beta-glucan. Yeah, with this 20% oat beta-glucan, the breakfast cereal, okay, and the multigrains. So these are the common food that being fortified with beta-glucan. Right. Last but not least, probiotic. I believe we have been hearing all these health benefits from probiotic, especially during COVID time. Yeah, a lot of people encourage, a lot of this recommendations to take more probiotic to boost up the immune system. So in order to claim it is a probiotic, it has to be a live bacteria. When we say live bacteria, meaning to say when the person consume it, it will able to enter our system and it grows in number and colonize the large intestine. Definitely, it has to bring health benefits to the host and do not cause any side effect to the host. For example, do not cause a toxicity to the host, or do not cause a mutagenic effect, meaning to say to change the gene expression and cause a cancer to the host. Yeah. So in order for a product to be claimed as a probiotic product, it has to have a certain amount of probiotic inside. Yeah. So minimal amount, it has to contain 1 billion CFU live bacteria inside the product. Then only it can be claimed as a probiotic product by giving you the benefit, the beneficial effects. So it's a strain specific effect. Different probiotic strain will give you different kind of health benefits. Yeah. And of course, by naturally, probiotic found in our natural food as well, especially those fermented food. Yeah, like yogurt, kefir, buttermilk, aged cheese, kombucha, tempeh, miso. So these are the popular food that you can naturally gain all these probiotic. So from research, yeah, it shows that these lactobacillus and bifidobacterium and show strong evidence in prevention of diarrhea, also in immunomodulation, meaning to say it helps to regulate your immune system. So from there, it lowers down the occurrence of allergic reaction, and also helps in lower down the urinary tract infection. So especially helpful for female, right? So these are some of the common probiotic containing food that found in the market, yeah, in the probiotic drinks and also in yogurt. Yep. So from today, I was sharing, we know that there's a growing of the nutraceutical industry here, that it will grow into, especially in the functional ingredient. In 10 years' time, it will grow into $200 billion US. So with this growth of the functional nutrient functional ingredient industry, that create a lot of job opportunity and demand for nutritionists. Yeah, because nutritionist is a well-trained nutrition expert. The nutritionist able to help in different sector in this whole nutraceutical industry. Yeah, so start from the research itself. Yeah, nutritionists can work as a nutrition scientist, where nutritionists will carry out clinical study to look into the evidence, yeah, especially long-term consumption, that particular functional ingredient, whether it will cause any hazardous effect to the person, and what is the health benefits. So it's very helpful in the claim substantiation. So nutritionists also work together with food scientists and also food technologists in nutritional product development, where nutritionist is well trained in look into the evidence and they were able to decide what kind of functional ingredient should go into the product and give the particular benefits to the end user. And of course, nutritionist is well trained in scientific evidence substantiation, so it works as a regulatory affairs officer in the food industry as well, where they will collect and also document all this scientific evidence and submit for the product registration. And also we need a lot of nutrition in the food outlet, especially in those pharmacy, in a wellness center, in a fitness center where they're selling this health product, where nutrition is able to substantiate the evidence, look into the information and look into the current scientific evidence on that particular ingredient, and to look into the safety and efficacy as well. So nutritionist plays a very important role, especially in come out the marketing content, where the nutritionist is able to decide, okay, which is the correct information should go to the end user. So they will screen through all this information and to give advice based on the needs of the consumer. So we can see that nutritionist plays very important role in the different sector in the nutraceutical industry. Yeah, so thank you so much, and that's all for today's sharing, and hope to see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Penny. Very interesting, yeah. So we see over the years, we are no longer just eating for basic nutrients or basic nutrition, yeah, but we have evolved to be eating for health and wellness. All right, thank you. We invite questions for Dr. Penny and also other speakers. Do drop them, yeah, type them in the Q&A box, and we will take them all after the end, at the end of the sessions. Thank you, Dr. Penny, again. So our next speaker, yeah, very prominent speaker, you would have seen him or hear him through various webinars or any engagement, yeah, with Nutrition Society Malaysia. If you do participate in the road shows, listen to any of the conference webinars, you would have seen him or heard him, yeah. So we are very fortunate today to have Dr. Tee E Siong with us, yeah. So Dr. T requires no introduction, right? Dr. T is the president of NSM, Nutrition Society of Malaysia, and is a chair of the Southeast Asia Public Health Nutrition SEA PHN Network. He is also the co-chair of the Southeast Asia Scientific and Regulatory Expert Network. He represents NSM in several technical working groups in the Ministry of Health, including National Coordinating Committee for Food and Nutrition, the Technical Working Group for Nutritional Guidelines, and committees related to Malaysian food regulation and Codex Alimentarius. Dr. Tee is also the Scientific Director of the International Life Sciences Institute, ILSI, Southeast Asia region, and the coordinator for Malaysia Country Committee. So let's put our hands together to welcome Dr. Tee. Dr. Tee will be sharing functional ingredients and health, myth or fact. Over to you, Dr. Tee.
Thank you, Dr. Megan. My audio is okay?
Yes, loud and clear, Dr. Tee.
Okay, let me share the screen first. Slideshow. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Megan. As Dr. Megan mentioned, we not just eat classical food for classical nutrients for nourishment of the body. So we eat other food ingredients. We look for other food components in food, and Dr. Chong Pei Nee has already outlined or summarized several of these food components, bioactive food components, functional ingredients in food, give examples of several of these functional foods. The question one would, of course, ask, is it myth or is it really true that they do provide some functional benefits? So my talk this afternoon, let us share some of these evidence. Is there evidence to show that they indeed do provide health benefits to the human being? So I will first 2 slides on basics of functional ingredients, or some people call them bioactive food components, just to reinforce what Dr. Chong Pei Nee already mentioned just now. Then I will spend most of the time talking about the food laws in this country that control these functional ingredients, bioactive food components in food, and also control the kind of ingredients that may be used, also control the kind of claims that may be made so that the consumer is protected against fraudulent claims, unsubstantiated claims. So finally, I will also add on to say that what Dr. Chong mentioned, nutritionists play a very important role in the management of these functional ingredients, and you can contribute towards the development of these functional ingredients and make them available appropriately to the community. So just 2 slides on functional foods or ingredients. So these are foods that can provide health benefits beyond basic nutrition. So we are not talking about vitamins, minerals, but in components in food, they can provide health benefits, modify physiological functions in the body. So these are also known as bioactive components in foods, and these are not classical nutrients. We'll emphasize that several times already this afternoon, and they can be naturally occurring. Dr. Chong already mentioned beta-glucan in oat, in barley, and so on, plant sterol in various other foods, but they can also be added to foods. So functional ingredient can be extracted from several other foods and added to other foods. So the benefit is that these functional ingredients become available to more types of food, making them more available to wider segments of the community. More people can benefit from this. So you don't have to eat oat, for example. You can eat other foods that contain beta-glucan. Plant sterol, for example, is not found in milk, but if you could add it to milk, then it becomes available to milk powder as well. So that is the concept of adding it to other foods. So I would also emphasize that functional foods are in conventional food appearance. They have taste, they have appearance, and they must be part of a normal diet. And they are not in pharmaceutical dosage forms. They are not in capsules. They are not in tablet forms. So that's the difference between functional food and also nutraceuticals or supplements. So now let's come on to the claim on functional properties or health benefits of these. So functional foods can make health claims like what Dr. Chong mentioned, beta-glucan in oats can help lower blood cholesterol. Inulin is a kind of fiber that can help improve the good bacteria in the gut, therefore improve the whole intestinal environment, provide a better, healthier microbiota, and make our digestive system more efficient. So I again mentioned these are not classical nutrients, not vitamins, not minerals, but they are present in food, present natural food. They can be extracted out, added to other foods. Yeah. However, it's very important to remember that there must be scientific proof that they provide health benefits. And that is what we are going to talk about. Able to provide scientific proof to the regulatory authorities, to the government, then you can sell this to the people and make appropriate claims. So there must be laws, and there are indeed laws in the country, and several parts of the world have laws that control these bioactive food components. And in Malaysia, on the right-hand side, you can see the regulatory authority in this country is Food Safety and Quality Division within the Ministry of Health in Malaysia, controls the food law in this country. Everything sold in the market for foods, and all the food sold in the market are regulated, controlled by FSQD, Food Safety and Quality Division of the Ministry of Health. There must also be laws to control what kind of claims that can be made. So it is very important to protect interests of the consumer, and so that the claims are based on scientific evidence, properly substantiated, and so that we prevent fraudulent claims. Not enough evidence, you cannot make these claims. So they become truth and not myth. They become facts and not myth. So that's the differentiate between the myth and the facts. So what is the law in this country? They regulate these functional foods or functional ingredients. The principal the law is Food Act 1983, and Food Regulations 1985 is formed given power by the Food Act 1983. But over the years, this is Food Act 1983, Food Regulations 1985, that over the years, the regulations have been updated so many times. Different parts of the regulation, part of the law have been amended, improved. Some old ones not relevant have been removed. So it has been updated frequently over the years. So if you have interest at a specific food law, go to the website of FSQD. You can download this law and understand for yourself. So a bit more detail on the Food Regulation 1985. They permit the functional ingredients to be added to food. This food law 1985. But however, this law in Malaysia does not use the term functional ingredient. The term used is other food components. I'll show you the regulation in a bit. Again, these are not nutrients, but are biologically active, non-nutritional components. But they must be scientifically proven to improve the nutritional quality of the food to which we add it. You must prove that it's useful before it's allowed to be added to food and then be sold on the market. So other countries also have this functional ingredient, allow them to be added to food and also make health claims. However, they may use other terms. One example is bioactive, non-nutritional substances. Now, this is the regulation from Food Regulation 1985, Regulation 26, where underline the term is there. So this list actually gives various vitamins, mineral, fatty acids that may be added to food. But the law was recently, not so recent, some years ago already amended by adding other food components, the red underlined one. Yeah? And the important thing is that they must improve the nutritional property of that food. So this list of permitted ingredients is listed, tabulated in the list. The list is called Table 1 to the 12th schedule. The law is there, but there are also schedules. These are actually tables that further elaborates on the law. So table 1 of the 12th schedule, I'll show you this table in a bit. There are 25 other food components inside this table, which companies can use to add to the food, improve the nutritional property of their food. So this is the list, table 1 of the 12th schedule, and there are vitamins and minerals inside, many of them. And then there are an item called other food components. These are non-nutrients. These are, for example, various dietary fiber, plant sterol is there, inulin is there. So this is where we focus on other food components. And only these, in this list, can be used for food in this country. You cannot simply use any other ingredients and use them in the food. only this list permitted to be added to foods in this country. Very clear to the manufacturer what can and cannot be added to their foods. What about making health claims? As I mentioned, there must be law to control what claims can be made and cannot be made. So there's very clear regulation that permits the making of claims for other food components. This claim is called other function claims. It's not nutrient function claim. Nutrient function claim is for vitamins, mineral, for example, calcium is important for strong bones and teeth, a very common claim. But other function claims is only for bioactive food components or other food components. So they describe they describe the potential health benefits of other food components and contribute positively to the health of human beings. Regulation 18F is the one that controls the use of other functioning claims in this country. Yeah. And if we look at the very claims that are permitted, we must be aware that only these claims in the law are permitted to be made. You cannot simply create some claim and make this on your food packaging or describe in the advertisement or in your talk to the consumer. So for these are two examples. There are 43 claims, and we don't have time to go through all of these. And there are 22 other food components. So for example, beta-glucan, very popular one, and then isomaltulose is a slowly hydrolyzed carbohydrate, so that it can be used to replace part of the sugar. And others like plant sterol, also a lot of scientific studies to show that plant sterol can help to reduce blood cholesterol. So for people with high blood cholesterol, this can be very useful as a part of the dietary component to help lower blood cholesterol. If the cholesterol is not so high, you can use this food, functional ingredient, to help lower blood cholesterol without having to take drug when the level is not that high yet. So these are the usefulness of functional ingredients to help improve our health. Not to cure anything, not to cure diseases, but help promote well-being of the human being. Yeah? It is another one, inulin, I think I mentioned briefly. This is a carbohydrate, special carbohydrate called prebiotic. They can help to improve the number of good bacteria in the gut, therefore help to improve our microbiota within the gut system. And speaking of these good bacteria, then we talk about probiotic. Just now, Dr. Chong also mentioned about probiotic. We also recognize that it is also one of the non-nutritional food component that is recognized to be able to improve physiological function, improve health of human beings. So it is recognized by law in several countries in Southeast Asia, 4 countries in Southeast Asia, and Malaysia recognizes some years ago already, 6-7 years ago. So Malaysia Food Regulation 1985 permit that probiotics can be added to foods and beverages. There's also a positive list approach. Malaysia likes to go on positive list. I also like that approach because it's very transparent to people. What's in that list can be used. What's not in that list cannot be used. It's very clear. If you don't have a list, then consumer doesn't know, industry doesn't know what can and cannot be used, But not all countries have a positive list. Some countries are not so clear, not so transparent. Yeah? So we have a positive list of probiotic strains. I'll show you that in a bit. And also the Malaysian food regulations allow simple claim to be made. For example, probiotic cultures help in improving intestinal function or gut function. Very simple, basic claim. We cannot claim that probiotics can help immunity, prevent cancer, cure NCD. We cannot talk about disease or any of the food ingredients, bioactive ingredient. We cannot say that one food component can help you prevent heart disease, for example. Diseases cannot be part of this claim in this country. Yeah? In this country. So let me show you this list of probiotics, or the regulation first. Regulation 26A very clearly allows the use of probiotic and define what is a probiotic. Probiotics must be live cultures. They must be alive when we eat them, so they must be kept cold in the cold section of the supermarket. They must be consumed in enough numbers, and they must provide health benefit. Again, we talk about scientific substantiation of a bacteria before it can be allowed to be added to the food. Yeah. So there is a positive list in the 12A schedule, different schedule, and this is a list. I think there are 32 strains here, and they're up to strain level. The functional benefit is specific to a particular strain. Like we have surname and other names, they have genus, species, and up to the strain level. Very specific, and safety must be proven first. So also very specific labeling requirements for probiotics. You must name the probiotic culture up to the strain level. You must say to the consumer how many microorganisms are there in that product. You must give the storage instructions, because after if at room temperature, after some time, all the bacteria will be killed and they will not be able to perform the functions. Yeah? There must be a minimum number of 10 to the power 6, 1 million probiotics culture in that food. Yeah? So industry may apply for new functional ingredients, bioactive food components to be added to food. They can also apply to add new probiotic to the food under the food regulation that I mentioned just now. Industry can also apply for new health claims on probiotics or food ingredients to be able to be made and shared with the consumer. But important thing is scientific substantiation must be there. But of primary importance is this must be safe. The food must be safe before you can talk about how wonderful that food is or how wonderful that ingredient is. It's not safe, there's not allowed to be sold at all. Yeah? So when a company applies for a functional ingredient or health claim, there's expert committee formed within the Ministry of Health, Food Safety and Quality Division. The panel of experts will then review the proof that the company submits to the Ministry of Health. So I'll just share with you some of the important components that a company must remember. Later on, you become a nutritionist, you join a company. So what are the requirements for providing scientific proof? So number one is all the literature must be provided, not just provide all the positive findings and hide all the negative findings. Positive must be given, negative also must be given to the expert committee to study. Is there sufficient proof or not for the proposed claim? Data is preferably from human clinical trials. Double-blind, placebo-controlled trials are the best. It must be done on human beings. There are many studies on rats, on monkeys and rabbits and so on. Yes, these are useful, but they are not enough. Rats and monkeys are not human beings. No? They will behave differently when consuming these foods. Very important clinical trials on human beings. You can also take data from epidemiological studies, experimental studies in the lab and so on, but they can only use to provide supportive evidence, add on to the human clinical trial data that we have. And all these papers must be studies by other study organization is best, not just your own company data. It must be from several organizations that will provide added proof to the scientific evidence. Yeah, and all the papers must be published in reference journals. So journal will scrutinize all the data. If they find evidence convincing, they will publish the paper. They don't find the study well done, they will not publish the papers. So these are some of the quick sharing that I have on the kinds of evidence that are required. So very important to remember that there must be scientific substantiation, and nutritionists play a very important role in these functional ingredients. For example, in the area of understanding functional food science, functional ingredients, nutritionists will study this in their course. After the graduation, they can understand what are these and understand how these can be added to food, what kinds of food can be added, for who are these functional ingredients useful. They can work with the food scientists, food technologists in food formulation, food improvement, food renovation, and food innovation. Yeah. So they can participate in research studies, like I mentioned just now, animal studies or clinical studies to provide evidence for the company. Or you can also be working in a university. You can also help the company do this study or do this as part of your duty as a science lecturer in a university or professor in a university. So you can help to provide, explain the functional food science, explain to the consumer what does the ingredient mean. A food ingredient is useful yet, but it is not going to cure any disease. It's not going to be the only food that one eats. We must provide appropriate evidence to the consumer, appropriate knowledge to the consumer. They must consume this food in the appropriate way and in the appropriate manner. They cannot simply take only that component, everything, every day, for weeks and months and years. That's not the way. It must be part of the normal diet of a person. Yeah? So I will just, last few slides, I'll just show you some publications that I have published through International Life Sciences Institute. You can download this for free from the UC website. And also I published a paper recently on probiotics, what kinds of regulation are available in the region. Also published recently a paper on the food laws in the region on non-nutritional bioactive food components. How do other countries regulate this? What are the laws in this country and other countries? So in conclusion, that I, as a nutritionist for I think over 50 years, I've been working. I think the country needs a lot of insufficient number of qualified nutritionists to carry out the various activities in the various diverse roles in the university, in the food companies, in the research organization, or acting as a consultant yourself in your own company. So we have to prevent the undernutrition, stunting, for example, micronutrient deficiency, anemia, for example, versus the other overnutrition like obesity, heart disease, cancer. All these are related to the diet. And there's so much problem of undernutrition and overnutrition in the country. We really need a lot more nutritionists to help us to carry out the prevention strategies to prevent these diseases from getting worse and worse in these countries. We must have enough numbers of these nutritionists to work in different settings, like I mentioned, in the academia, in the private sector, also in the government setting, also, or as a private consultancy on your own. Yeah. So we need capable, well-trained nutritionists. We must have that number of nutritionists so that they can take part in the various intervention programs for the prevention of malnutrition in this country. Yeah. So as a last few bit, Dr. Megan, allow me to share about Nutrition Society of Malaysia. So as president of the NSM, after your graduation, we do want you to join the society. This only society in this country for nutritionists, and we want to improve lives through nutrition. And these are the various activities that we have been doing. NSM is 38 years old. We work in different sectors, yeah, and various settings, in the school setting, community setting, and there's a lot of things that nutritionists can do, and you certainly are welcome to join us after your graduation. So a nutritionist really have lots of things to do, and I personally really have no regret being a nutritionist for 50 years, and certainly be a nutritionist is very rewarding because we help people prevent malnutrition. Thank you, Dr. Megan.
Thank you, Dr. Tee. Very informative, yes, sharing and presentation. Thank you also for sharing some of the facts, yeah, revolving around functional ingredients. Yeah, I'm sure our audience today and also the consumers out there are now more confident, yeah, about the nutrition science, yeah, that that was done extensively before the functional ingredients are being incorporated into the food products and make available to consumers out there. Yeah, I also like to and would like to thank the speakers, both the speakers for outlining, yeah, the roles of nutritionists in the sector of functional foods and nutraceuticals. right? To our audience, do keep the questions coming. Yeah, type them in the Q&A box. We will take all your questions at during the Q&A session, yeah, after our third speaker. Our third speaker for today, our own alumni, yeah, Miss Alvina Ling, right? Alvina Ling is a certified nutritionist graduated from IMU in the year of 2016. She has ample working experience as a nutritionist in the nutraceutical industry. In her current position, she conducts a critical appraisal and collates scientific evidence for functional ingredients and products. She's also conducting training related to products, nutrition, and functional ingredients to healthcare professionals. She is passionate in nutrition and constantly equips herself and updating her knowledge, yeah, on potential health benefits of functional ingredients to serve her clients better. Alvina, over to you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Megan. I'm very grateful that I have a chance to do some sharing to all of you in this session today. So I'm also very happy to be invited to share my career path as a nutritionist. So I graduated from IMU in year 2016. So until today, I have around 7 years of experience working as a nutritionist. So why do I want to become a nutritionist? So one of the reasons, basically since young, because my mom, she always visited clinic, like she's a VIP to the clinic. So she always falls sick and she take a lot of medications. So since young, in my mind, I always wanted to do something. What can I do to help my mom to fall sick lesser and also do not rely so much on the medication? So I believe prevention is better than cure. So since then, I get exposed to the nutritionist, this term in 15 years, when I was 15 years old, I know that this is what I wanted to pursue in future. So my work experience actually started before graduate from IMU, because IMU actually prepared us to join 2 different sectors for our internship. So my first experience was in Klinik Kesehatan, which means the government sector. So in Klinik Kesehatan, we actually perform a lot of works that is exactly what I imagine what a nutritionist do. So when we were based in Klinik Kesehatan, our daily routine is basically to prepare and produce educational tools, including like presentation slides, flyers, leaflets, posters, and so on for the activities that we're going to use. And also we need to do consultation one-to-one for the outpatient. But of course, during internship time, we are just observing how the nutritionist perform all the consultation to the patients. And we also provide a lot of, conduct a lot of activities, and we also visit home visit to those under government program, which mean for those who have special needs, they have lack of food source. Actually, government provide certain food who is under this program. So as a nutritionist work as a clinical kesehatan, we need to visit to them and make sure that they actually use all the food that we provided from the government. They use it on their own. They do not sell it to others for the money. Okay, so that's what nutritionists have to do there, to monitor the whole program and also to find out the effectiveness of the program. So during home visit, we also perform some cooking demonstration at the hall or the day one around that kampong area, so that we can educate them what is the proper way to prepare the food so that they can get the nutrients in their daily diet. Okay, other than that, we also visit school. We need to go to their canteen to do some inspections, make sure that the food that they prepare are actually following the food guidelines. So for example, not having more than 3 types of fried food at the school canteen that's sell during the recess time. Okay, so this is like one of the examples that I can remember during that time. So there are a lot of other guidelines that need to follow. So as a nutritionist working at Klinik Kesehatan, you have to inspect the canteen at the school. We also conduct educational presentation at the school or interact with the children at the school to brush up their knowledge on the nutrition so they can know about nutrition, healthy eating since at their young age. And we also pay special visit to special needs home, so to make sure that they can receive or to get the nutrition support basically from their daily food intake. Okay, so that's the first experience that I work as an intern in clinical kesehatan. Secondly, we are provided as a chance to go to the private sector. And in my case, I choose to go sport institute because I'm quite a sport person. I'm into sports. So I am very curious. What does sport nutritionist actually do? How nutrition can actually helps athletes' performance. So so I choose to go ISN as my second internship, but I do have my my classmates. They actually went to like Nestle and Dutch Lady, other food and beverage supplements. But to share my own experience in the Sport Institute, basically what a sport nutritionist do is that we perform educational talk to the cafeteria staff at that institute because we need to take care of athletes' diet. So what cafeteria staff prepare are what the athletes eat in their daily diet. So we need to take care of that. So other than that, we also perform some projects, including educational tool project is to develop a food calories menu book. So that time when we work as an internship, we need to plan out our budget, the time frame to complete the project, and also to take photos of the food so that it can make it as a material for the project. We also perform body composition and also fitness level tests with the athletes and from different sports, so that we know that the nutrition needs are there or we need to improve. So different sports, they require different nutrients, nutrients, and also maybe some of them they need some functional foods as well. So we need to do meal planning for the athletes from different sports. So these are what we do as a sport nutritionist in the Sport Institute. So I found it's very interesting. And also I remember that time because I was the first batch nutrition graduates from IMU. So I remember that time when we went for this internship, the course that offer was lacking of the meal planning part. And when we feedback to IMU, very quick and fast, they include this module for us. And I think after my batch, the meal planning part was already included in the module. So I really appreciate that IMU, they always listen to our feedback so that they can give the best, help us to practice and equip us to go to the real world. Okay, so after graduation, that is where I really go into the real world as a nutritionist to get my first full-time job. So my first full-time job was actually at GNC, which now they name as a LAC. What I do over there was they very emphasized on evidence-based consultation. So this is not a big problem for me because since in IMU, they always emphasize on evidence-based practice, and every single word or every single sentence that we present during uni time, they will require your source and your supporting information. So from there, I know that it's very easy for me to do the same when I work as a real nutritionist in the retail line. So we also need to understand our customer needs so that we can provide the suitable products. We give consultation and also the advice for our customers. And because we are working in a retail, so we always need to get update on the trending product and also the ingredients, such as the functional foods that we've mentioned in the two previous presenters today. So because the product are a lot and also might not be covered when you study the classic nutrients. So during this job, I actually learn a lot, and also I do a lot of own studies on the trending product, so that when a customer who tell you something new, you can actually able to catch up and also able to give them the correct advice. Okay, so come to my current job. I actually left my last job after 2.5 years working over there, because I know that the career path from the company after they go to a higher level means that they reach a manager level, they will be not doing so much on the nutritionist part, more on like monitoring on the sales, all the numbers. So that is not what I want. So that's why I move on to my current job. So my current job is actually working as a nutritionist. My title with a nutritionist come marketing. So as you know from the title itself, I'm doing more on the marketing part to support the company in providing the nutrition related information. So basically it's exactly what just now Dr. Pei Nee mentioned. Nutritionists feel we have a lot of different kind of the settings. So what I'm doing now is actually the last part, which I always need to face a lot of end consumers and also different client needs. So what I do now in my current company, I produce social media content in multi languages, like Facebook posts, Instagram information, videos, and also like leaflets for all the supporting marketing materials. So as a nutritionist, I know that I need to provide all these evidence-based studies. So I always do a lot of research when it comes to provide all this content. But as a nutritionist, it doesn't only provide this content, especially when I work in my current job. I also need to prepare health related talk and also product training to the clients and our consumers, so that they can have the correct information about the products. So during like my daily routine, we also need to attend some inquiries from consumers. So I always have to practice, like need to know what are their needs, and also let them have the proper knowledge on like the food and also the supplements. So because a lot of out there, when people they come to nutritionists, they will thought that you are like doctors, you can actually cure their disease, and they will see like food supplements as something that they will see it equally as a medication. So from there, sometimes we a bit of challenge to actually correct their mindset, to give them the proper mindset on what are the actually these food or the functional foods can do for them. Okay, so basically what I do now is to do it as like to a person who talk to our end consumer to teach them the proper mindset on the nutrition and food supplements. All right, so basically these are my sharing for today. Yeah, it's here just like showcase on what I've done in my current job. Yeah, and also we need to promote health awareness campaign as well to the public, so that they can have a correct knowledge on the health and also how to take care of their health. Okay, so basically these are my career path. So I'm very happy that I can share my experience with all of you. What Dr. Pei Nee shared just now, like nutritionist, you can work in a lot of different settings. So for myself, I've been I done my internship in like clinic kesehatan, like government sector, also in a sport institute as a sport nutritionist, and now I'm working more on like to support the marketing. So I can see that once you explore more, you will get to know what you are really enjoy and your passion, where is your passion. So don't be afraid to explore, and just do goods for all the publics who need your help. Yeah, there's so much for my sharing. I will pass back to Dr. Megan.
Thank you, Alvina. Thank you for sharing your career journey as of now yet, yeah? So happy for you, you know. So it has been so fast, yeah? So a couple of years after your graduation, and now you're making difference, yeah? To people's life in your current roles as a nutritionist. Okay, thank you for that. Now we shall open the session for Q&A. Do post your questions. Yeah, we love to take all your questions. Yeah, do type them in the Q&A box. Yeah, so I'd like to invite our speakers for today for the Q&A session. Probably the first question to Alvina. Yeah, Alvina, can you share with us what is the most rewarding in your career?
All right. Most rewarding part, I think, because I work a lot with the end consumers, means those who consume products. So and also get consultation from me. So the most rewarding part, I would think still, is when they found that my consultation or my advice is actually helping them to improve their health, and they come back to us and say thank you. It's just as simple as that. I found that that's the most rewarding part. Even though now what I'm doing is more like on marketing or more on like social media posting and to provide information on social media. But when it comes to like, I think this is like a human touch when they come to you and just say thank you. I think that's the most rewarding part, because I wanted to become a nutritionist because of my mom. I want to help my mom to improve her health. So now what I'm doing is like to improve other people's health. So yeah, that's actually why I started. Why I started to become a nutritionist.
Your motivator, yeah? And that drives passion and all. Thank you. Dr. Pei Nee, would you like to further add on a little bit? What do you find, most rewarding in your career? So over the years that you're in industry, in academics.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Megan, for the question. So basically, I actually involved in different settings of nutrition, where I do my my postgraduate study, and I involved in research, and then I go into academy for lecturing, and also I go into the manufacturing line where we formulate the nutraceutical products. So I will feel that I have the passion is like you feel that because it's from a natural base. So the first thing it attracted me into the industry is because I believe that all these medicinal values in the natural food. Yeah, so it's so amazing that we are eating the right food, then we'll get the correct health, the health. So that interests me first. So when I go into a different setting, I feel that the nutritionist job is very important. We actually able to contribute a lot, in the research, in the formulation, in the marketing, so that we give the correct information to the public, and also we able to ensure the safety and the efficacy of the functional product, so that the public get the correct product, so that their health is ensured. So our role is very important. So that actually make me very fulfilling, this very satisfying, that every time you were being fed with the new information, wow, new discovery, so that very interests me. And then we convey the message to the public, hopefully with that bring the health benefits to the public with the by ensuring the safety and efficacy of the product. Yeah, thank you,
Thank you, Dr. Pei Nee. Dr. Tee, anything you would like to further add on? Like you mentioned, 50 years as a nutritionist.
Yeah, so I started work in 1972 actually in the Institute for Medical Research. I was heading the nutrition department there, providing the research data for Ministry of Health to do intervention programs. So I retired some 20 years ago already. I spent a lot of time on public health nutrition with the Nutrition Society of Malaysia. I found that very rewarding. Of course, research, you're very happy you see your work published and people use your publication, like the food composition table and so on. That's very rewarding. Now for 20 years, I've been doing Nutrition Society of Malaysia. We do a lot of, I can relate what Alvina is saying and what Dr. Pei Nee is saying. So when people read our publication on, I do Nutrition Month Malaysia, for example, we do NSM Roadshow 2.0. I give many talks. I've retired from all this already, that the younger people do. People like Alvina also contributing, right? So all these talks, all these help people. But so these are very rewarding things that we do, although Nutrition Society doesn't pay me anything, but it's very rewarding to do that. I set up my own company after that, nutrition consultancy. So members, participants in the show also on this talk can also think about a nutrition consultancy of your own. More and more nutritionists do that now. So I also work regionally through International Life Science Institute. So I think I have, as I mentioned, I have no regret being a nutritionist, and we really have to prevent diseases from this country. We cannot keep on building more and more hospitals. People go to the hospitals, So I can understand what Alvina is saying about getting sick so often. We have to prevent the diseases. So nutrition is the way for prevention of diseases.
Thank you, Dr. Tee. You can hear from the speakers, the passion that they have, and then I think similarities are also the, the yearn to help people. The great emphasis on prevention over, over prevention, and also wellness. Thank you, everyone, for that. Perhaps the next question to Dr. Pei Nee, for those who are interested in joining a nutrition program, can you share with us how the IMU nutrition curriculum can actually prepare the student to be work ready in this sector?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Megan, for the very relevant question. So if anyone that interested to further study in nutrition, where I'm able to offer you, because our module, our program, we have this module on the functional food, nutraceutical and supplement, where we train our students to be able and even very good in interpreting and appraise the scientific evidence, and to also train them in the evidence substantiation on the current findings for each of the functional ingredient, so that to ensure that when they graduate, they will convey the right message, the correct message to the public. And also we include nutritional education and counseling in our program, where they're not only by just theory, but a lot of practical as well, where they really get to train themselves in conveying the scientific evidence finding to the public in the layman term, and effectively, And also we have the principle of marketing and specifically application in nutrition as well, so that we will train our students in how to market do marketing for the nutritional product in a professional way, So our students, upon their graduation, they were able to evaluate the scientific evidence, they will communicate effectively the nutrition evidence to the public, and also give the correct advice based on the personal needs of the customer. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Tee, there's one question for you. I think you are the right person to take this. Is there a law in the country that recognizes and regulates the practice of nutritionists in Malaysia?
Yeah, Dr. Megan, it's an appropriate question that people now considering joining. Do I want to study nutrition or not? Then will I, after the end of the course, will I be recognized as a nutritionist? Do I get a practicing certificate, recognized by the law? Yes, indeed, that is so. So we will, after graduation from recognized university, only from recognized university, and I'm pleased that IMU is one of the recognized university, and graduate from IMU can apply to register as a nutritionist. After that, you get an APC, annual practitioner certificate. After that, you must prove you are continuing practicing in any setting will do. Can be any setting, in a pharmaceutical, in the a lecturer, or in a food company, and then you renew your certificate every 2 years. So the law is under the Allied Health Professions Act. It was 2016. It was passed as a law. Now we are enacting the proper regulations. we're putting into place the various guidelines for the registration of nutritionists. There's a council being formed. I am the representative for nutrition professions, and registration of nutritionists going on by sectors, government sector first, and academia. After that, go to the private sector next year. So there's a grace period now, so people can register until 2025. After that, people who don't register cannot practice as a nutritionist. Then you can be arrested, you can be fined, you can be even jailed for that. So we want to protect the profession of nutritionists. Only people who are trained and registered can practice as a nutritionist. There are too many people out there who pretend to be nutritionists, giving advice on various items, like especially on supplements, on various products, and they claim to cure this, cure that, So these are the myths that we don't want to have in this country. So this law is there. It will protect the consumer from fraudulent practices, not properly trained nutrition people who are nutritionists, and also protect the profession. The nutritionist will be a recognized professional, like a doctor, like a pharmacist, like a nurse, and so on. And we will be protected under the law. But also the other side is we have to be careful is that nutritionists registered must practice ethically and professionally. A member of the practicing said nutritionist or the public can complain about you to the council, and you can be called by the council to explain why did you say that, which is not according to the science, or you were practicing other things not within the scope of practice of a nutritionist. So it protects the consumer, protects ourselves as nutritionists. So the law is there. That will be very beneficial to the consumer. And we want nutritionists to be treated respectfully, like a nutritionist, like a proper professional. So that should answer the question, Dr. Megan.
Thank you, Dr. Tee. Very informative. We are happy, that we are very happy that the registration is now rolling. And we now, like what Dr. Tee say, able to protect the consumer and protect the profession as a whole. So we have the next question to Dr. Pei Nee. What advice would you give to someone who wish to include functional ingredients in his or her diet?
Thank you, Dr. Megan. So as explained by Dr. Tee, so nutritionists plays a very important role. We are protected, and under the law, we need to practice ethically. So definitely for anyone who want to consume any functional ingredient or include the diet, get a registered nutritionist. Because a registered nutritionist will do his part to look for information, the scientific evidence, and evaluate and give you the professional advice based on your condition, and also to evaluate to substantiate the ingredient itself, whether it's safe or not to be included into your diet. So it's very important to refer to the registered nutritionist, because we need to practice ethically, and your health is concerned. So actually a lot of people that, like what Dr. Tee say, a lot of people out there practicing, but they are not properly graduate as a nutritionist, but they practice as a nutritionist job. I'm actually encounter, people come to me and say, oh, we shouldn't drink milk. I say, why? Because there's a nutritionist say that drinking milk will cause you osteoporosis. The evidence is in opposite
contradicting,
way. Contradicting. So that is the information they're not getting from a proper graduate nutritionist. So we are bound by the law that we need to practice ethically. So if you want to take your product safe and not to endanger your health, get the advice from the registered nutritionist. All right, so that is very important.
Betul, safe, and also worthwhile lah. Not money goes down the drain, kan?
Goes down the upper, maybe 5 years later, then kidney disease.
Some effects when it is not scientifically evaluated, to be safe and efficacy, like what you mentioned. Thank you for that. Dr. Tee, there's one more for you. What is the prospect for the nutrition graduates in Malaysia and also in the global scene?
That question I often get asked by undergrads, and it's very important. For me, I think the nutritionist role can play in many settings, like I mentioned in my slides, and we see examples here. Both of you are lecturers. Alvina is maybe in the pharmaceutical industry, or also in contact with the public, So there are various settings, and the process is very good in my mind. Yeah, because you can go into various settings. You can go and teach in a university. You can go and join the companies to become a nutritionist, help the food technologists, food scientists develop healthier products. The government is emphasizing a lot on healthier products to the community. So companies under pressure to produce healthier choice logo products, innovation of their products, and also in the pharmaceutical industry, supplements are better, health food. All the health foods are not necessarily in pharmaceutical forms. Some of them are in powder forms, in foods, and there are a lot of innovations, renovations going on, looking for functional ingredients to be added to foods. So these are the other settings in the government. You can join the government. I always feel that there's not enough nutritionists within the government sector because the people may have some question to ask about nutrition. Who do they ask? There are not enough nutritionists throughout the country. They don't want to see a dietitian because dietitian treat sick people. I'm not sick, I just want to know whether eating bread can make me fat or not. So who do I ask? We want nutritionists to be all over the country, in kampong, everywhere, so that they can ask, and nutritionists might become a common household name, like a doctor or a dietitian, So there's a lot of prospect there's a lot of prospect, and the country economy is picking up. I think there's a lot of it can be a personal consultant, your own consultant itself. There are many of these now, and there are various things you can do in social media, in marketing, various things. But of course, within the law and ethically, Dr. Chong also must emphasize that many times.
Yeah, versatile, and
Yes.
also like the other point that you mentioned must be reachable, by the publics and the community. There's one more question for you, Dr. Tee. This is truly relating to NSM. There's one question. Is there any opportunity for me to join or participate in any activities organized by NSM? Even before becoming a student? Over to you.
Very good. I think he has read up about NSM and our public health activities. So I see this person has a lot of inclination towards nutrition. Yes, he can join us and do some voluntary work. We do Nutrition Month Malaysia. We just over in June. If he had contacted me earlier, he could have joined there, which is reaching out to the public, talking to the public, body composition measurement, showing them how to read the food pyramid, the suku spiral plate, and so on. We also have another program ongoing all the time, which is the Nutrition NSM Roadshow 2.0. That is ongoing all the time, and we do virtual activities as well as on-ground activities. If he can email me, I'm not sure whether he or she, but can email me, I will link up to the person, Dr. Roslyn Yap, who is heading that program. And programs are still going on all the time and can contribute, even not necessarily as a graduate. There are various things they can do. It can help to design flyers, announcements, and so on. And this NSM Roadshow program is by volunteers. We don't pay them. And they learn from this. They're very grateful to learn from this. We have volunteers who are working already and join us to volunteer for this. There are lecturers, there are nutrition working, MOH, volunteering for NSM Roadshow 2.0. NSM is a not-profit making organization. We don't have our own funds. We need a lot of volunteers to do this. And I think volunteers also gain because they gain on-ground, real-life experiences. Thank you. Yes, can email me. I think they can look on the website, Nutrition Society.
Boleh. We can, yes. I can also type in later in the chat. Yeah. So like you heard from Dr. Tee, all are welcome. You just email him and he can guide you accordingly. Okay, our last question for today for Alvina. We have a lot of youngsters today, in the webinar session. What advice would you give to the young aspiring nutritionists out there?
I think as a nutritionist, because maybe when you are just graduated, you will get lost because you don't know which settings you want go into, or you are like still thinking whether do I suitable to in this role or that role. So as I mentioned earlier, don't be afraid to try out different sectors so that you can know like which part is your passion. And like what today's both doctor mentioned, that because there are different settings, so you can actually go into different settings and try out. And nowadays, because the youngster, they are more on like social media, and you can become your own like a KOL nutritionist, so that you can actually inspire more people with the correct knowledge. And also like doesn't mean you have to work under a company. You can actually work on your own to provide services to the public, and you can find out whether which way you want to go. So for the young one, definitely you utilize like social media so that you can actually have the correct influence to the public. Yeah. So I think that's the trend now. Yeah, that's my my little bit of advice to the young nutritionists out there.
Yeah, don't be afraid to try, yeah, and you won't know, yeah, which one you'll be much more inclined. Okay, that is all for our webinar today. Please join me, yeah, to thank all the speakers, wonderful speakers that we have today, for sharing their experience, yeah, all the insight into the practice of nutrition in Malaysia, and also, yeah, some sharing about the roles of nutritionists in this nutraceuticals and functional ingredients sector. Okay. So I hope that we have managed to convince you to consider a career in nutrition, and also, yeah, to share with you that there are multiple roles that you can play as a nutritionist, yeah, and in promotion of health and wellness in people's life. All right. So do join us today. Do join us, yeah, for our subsequent webinar session on 5th of August. Yeah, that is our next webinar. Yeah, improving health status of the nation bite by bite. Yeah. Okay, so with this, I would like to say thank you for all the audience who have joined us today. And again, join me to thank all our wonderful speakers today. Bye-bye. I'll see you in the next webinar.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.